Okay,
Okay,
that's
now it's
perfect.
better.
That's perfect. How are you, Bruna?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, so far so good. It's good to see you finally,
Thank you. Good to see you too.
Yeah,
Finally
yeah.
talk to you. I can see you because it's
I,
different only talking by phone.
that's true. Yeah. So we can get started if you're ready.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So, well, first and foremost, I'd like to thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me. It's my first podcast actually, so it's like I'm really pretty
Yeah.
new to that.
Exciting, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So, did you get to train today at all?
Yes, yes. Today was a short one, but it was only glutes, so 3 or 4 exercises, but it's Saturday, so it's
Yeah.
short swing.
What did you train?
It was glutes day, so it was glute kickback.
Hmm.
Then I had hip abductors,
Hmm.
hip abductors, and some back extension that I do more for the glutes, like when we
Hmm.
put a little more down. And some squats. Yeah.
So let's I guess we can start off by talking about can you talk about how you got started with just training in general and bodybuilding?
Okay.
Was it something that you've always, done, or did something cause you to, get interested in it?
Okay. So since I was very little, like 5 years old or 6 years old, I started doing some sports. So
Uh-huh.
I had a teacher in my school in a kindergarten that was always putting me to do some sports because I was hyperactive. And so I was playing football and volleyball and all the sports with ball. We know how we are in Brazil. We love sports with ball. And then football was first introduced to me like pretty soon in my life. And then I also participate on championships in my school with the schools around the city, and also a little bit on my graduation. I'm a construction engineer. So at
Hmm.
some point in my graduation, I had to choose, do I keep doing sports or do I need time to study? And I had to do exactly that. So as I didn't have more time to practice sports and go for competitions and everything, I needed to choose keep my body going. And then I start going to the gym. So at this point, I was 22 and it was
Hmm.
my first time going to the gym. So it was when I knew I really like it. And with time, I started liking it more and more and more. And then I saw, okay, my body is fine and I have a very good development with my muscles. So probably I could participate on some competition for bodybuilding. And then I talked to my coach at the time, and he thought it was a pretty good idea. So my first competition was 2023,
Hmm.
November. And I was like pretty fresh to that thing, like I just did what I needed to do and I was pretty shy and everything, but I didn't know from the beginning I wanted to do bodybuilding.
Hmm.
But I also thought in the beginning, which I think is something that most people think, that there's only bodybuilding when you're enhanced. So when I start looking for information, I saw there was also competitions with natural bodybuilding, and I said, okay, I can do that because I never wanted to put any other chemicals in my body. So this
Hmm.
was a good thing for me to choose it.
Yeah. It's interesting. So before like we go too deep into it, I didn't realize that you're from Brazil. I know you live in Portugal, right? Correct?
Yes, I live in
Okay.
Portugal, but I'm Brazilian. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So what made you make the move from Brazil to Portugal?
Oh, I lived in many places in my life.
Uh-huh.
I lived in China, in Spain, in
Oh, wow.
Austria. I lived in many places, but I ended up in Portugal because I was invited to work here as an engineer. So I
Uh-huh.
started working here as an engineer 5 years ago, and here I am.
That's amazing. I'm sure. Well, you know English, so it's probably easy for you in any of those
Yeah,
countries. But
yeah,
but it make Portugal is great because obviously you speak Portuguese, being Brazilian, so it's
yes.
probably very easy to to
In
get
the
it.
beginning, it wasn't because they speak like Russians. It's very difficult to start understanding. So it took probably 1 to 2 months to start
Uh-huh.
understanding the accent, how it
Uh-huh.
was, and what they were talking about because it's a little bit different.
Interesting, interesting. So I didn't realize that. It's a lot of times when I speak to Spanish people, they always Spanish speaking, they always say everywhere is different. No matter like which country you go to, everybody's Spanish is a little bit different. So it's like Portuguese the same way, Brazilian Portuguese and Portugal's is different. Yeah.
Even inside Brazil, we have 26 states.
Hmm.
So each state has its own accent. So
Hmm.
even between us, it's difficult to understand each other sometimes.
Interesting.
But it's easier than Portugal. But because Portugal speaks like in a very different way, a different
Hmm.
vocabulary, a different positioning the words and the phrases, so it's a little bit more difficult to get adapted to. But once you do it, it's easier.
Sure, sure. Interesting. Yeah. So, I mean, I know Brazil is obviously a big area for bodybuilding, especially now,
Yeah.
and wellness, especially. That's really, before the IFBB picked up wellness, it was already extremely popular in Brazil and some other places in the world. And then it kind of came to America, later and became very, very popular. How about Portugal? Is there a big bodybuilding wellness community there or not, or, not quite?
Not quite. And the problem of all of this, it is I'm Brazilian and I'm wellness, but
Mm.
I just discovered that the bodybuilding culture in Portugal. Really bad timing. But the thing is, here in Portugal, it's not so popular.
Hmm.
And still, we have, for example, the WNBF, which is the Natural Federation,
Hmm.
one of the biggest ones. And in Brazil, they have the wellness um,
Hmm.
participants, but here in Europe, they still didn't open this class in wellness here because it's not so popular. So
Hmm.
I think this answers a little bit your question, but
Yeah.
NPC, IFBB, which is the one I've competed for, they always had the wellness, but they have different ways to deal with the tests and everything. So
Hmm.
it's completely different federations for
Hmm.
this specific practice for
Right.
testing.
So, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you're referring to that NPC, IFBB are not drug tested. You can become, you're enhanced
No, no,
there.
they
They do
test
test.
the winners. Yeah, they test the
Okay.
winners. So it's different from WNBF because when you're a pro, they are
Hmm.
testing the whole year. Like you cannot cheat anyway
I
because
see.
they're making surprise testings when you
Hmm.
are a pro because you're paying for that. But I don't think the NPC is doing that. I'm still not a pro. I'm planning to get my pro card next year,
Hmm.
but it's still a lot to improve from all the federations in the natural bodybuilding
Yeah.
because clearly there are a lot of people that are saying I am natural, but they were taking 5 months, 7 months ago a lot of drugs and everything.
Yeah.
And what can I say?
Yeah, yeah. It's so I mean, there's times where I've seen natural shows and I'm looking at the competitors and you can easily 100% tell that they are not natural. There's no way. It's almost funny to even consider
Yes,
it the
yes.
natural show. You
Who
know,
are you trying to fool here?
yeah. To me, it's not even, if I'm a competitor, it's not even interesting. Like, why would I want to compete, say I'm natural, beat a bunch of natural people, and then there's no glory in that,
It's just
there's,
because you're not good enough to beat the real
right.
intense people. That's what these people do.
Yeah.
Because they're not good enough to be up there in the other level, they try to come here to the natural level and say, "Look what I've done," and everybody's
Yeah.
saying, "Yes, we can see it."
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, but lately, I think the NPC has increased, NIVB has increased their natural shows. I think there's more now. I think they're putting more money into it now because more people are interested, which I was very surprised because years ago you would barely see any natural shows. Now there's way more, and I think it's going to get better and better. So I think that's good for you now that you're, decided to, stay natural. So,
Yeah, because I think it's also coming with this culture of wellness in the real life. Like people are searching more for health solutions for the daily life,
hmm
and it's also good that they are trying to be more healthy. So I think this is only a result of your if you have this as a daily request for your life. It's just a result of your day by day. How do you say? When you do everything daily
yeah,
routine.
yeah, your routine. Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. So I think if you're natural and you're doing everything right and you're working out, you're using the right tools, it's natural. I mean, of course, some people has more genetics to help
hmm
to get in this result, but it's something that is growing because people are seeing that the steroids are really dangerous, especially
hmm
people that has no information, like 20-year-old guys and girls just taking it because they want the result, but they never tried 2, 3 years to work out really hard to see how their body would react. So, and they are also having a lot of problems with their organs and dying too soon. So I think people are starting to look at this as well. So they say, okay, maybe I can try to get there naturally and see how it
hmm
goes. And maybe after that, if I didn't get it, I'll try the drugs.
Yeah, that's a real problem. Jumping on drugs early, it's a real problem. We were talking on the phone about this. It's an issue because people start using drugs the moment they go into the gym. I mean, as soon as they start lifting, they start using drugs, and that's a real issue. They don't develop a base.
Yeah.
They don't max out their natural abilities before they even, can consider it. And if you think about it, you get somebody who's 18, 19, 20 years old, and they start using heavy amounts of performance enhancing drugs. Let's say they do it for 5, 10, 15 years. I mean, they're going to be in their mid 30s and it's going to cause a lot of problems.
A
That's
lot of drugs. Yeah.
that's 15 years of heavy drug use, and you're still very, very young, and you're going to suffer the consequences of that. I think just people don't really understand that, there's consequences for everything that you take.
Yeah, like it's like every other drug, also like alcohol that is allowed to
hmm
have and to buy everything, but it's like any other drug. But because the result is physically beautiful or quicker
hmm
or so, okay, I'm not gonna have to work out 3 years to get this result. I can work out 2 months and get this result. Okay, I'm gonna do that. So people are just trying to reach the fastest way and it causes
Right.
so many problems like they are not. I think there's also lack of information in the internet because you see today a lot of people, oh, I take this and I take this for 2 months, look how I am, and people,
Mhm.
okay, if you got this I can also take it.
Yeah.
And it's like saying for a drug person who likes drugs, I'm selling this drug and I'm selling this drug, look how I get happy with that drug. And
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna use it. And it's just crazy, this misinformation, because you see the results, but nobody talks about what it can
Yeah.
cause.
Yeah. It's interesting because we went from a time where no one ever talked about it to now that everyone talks about it. So we went from no information to almost too much or a lot of bad information. So
Misinformation.
it's difficult either way. And so now you have, like you said, you have people that just hear someone using it or hear somebody's dosages and they're like, I'll try that. And, I don't know how much you keep up with like what people take and stuff like that. But I will tell you, I've heard of girls, taking things that you would never believe, dosages that people would never believe, that a woman would take. And even in wellness, and that's why sometimes you'll see some physiques that are just very bodybuilder type of physiques in wellness.
Yeah.
I think they try not to reward those physiques, the judges, but
Yeah.
you'll see girls with massive bodybuilder legs. Well, it's like, that usually those kind of legs are built with more drug use, and that's
Yeah, you can see like the cuts and the volume and the
Mhm.
differences. Like some you can see, and some people that don't know the difference, because for some people, for example, what I face every day in my page on Instagram is people coming and say, "You're lying, you're taking steroids,
Yeah.
you take this and that." And like, people, where are you talking? Because how can you confirm that I take something? Like, it's
Hmm.
really difficult, because this misinformation brings everybody to believe that even a natural body is enhanced. So
Hmm.
they are so mental brainwashed that they think that it's impossible to get a physique like that naturally.
Yes.
And they really go savage on the doses. And it's just getting crazy, because you see, okay, you're not going to compete in your life. You don't have the dream of being a bodybuilder. You don't
Hmm.
have the dream of being in an Olympia stage. You are a mom of, I don't know how many kids you have, or you're a dad, and you're taking this just for fun or just for a result that you're going to have for 2 months. And when you stop, you're going to come back to
Right.
everything that you were before. What are you trying to do? It's just
Yeah.
like crazy.
Yeah, I think people sometimes don't have their priorities, right. It's like what do you have to understand what you're doing this for. And I'm not he, telling somebody not to use it. I'm not,
Yeah.
or to use it. I'm not saying anything like that. But I will say that I am a big proponent of, if there's one thing that I stand on, is maximize your natural potential before you consider it, and so, because if you're still growing and if you're still getting better in your natural, there's no reason to start. And then once you stop, once you plateau, once you can't go anymore, then you can think about it, but
Yeah. I was saying, because I'm a construction engineer, so it's like building a house without foundation. You just put in the
mm-hmm.
bricks and you're hoping that the walls keep stable. You're not doing the foundation, you're not doing the structure, you're not doing anything. You're just putting the bricks there just to make a
Yeah.
form. And what about the rest? Like, you don't know.
Right.
Many people have the potential, because this is what I've been through. I was training for so many years, as I told you, since I was 22. So it's going to be 14 years I trained already. And only in the last years, like the last 2 years, I've reached my good potential. And I still think, because my coach also believes that I still in my 30% potential of what I can reach. So still, I feel good, and I know I look good, but I know that I have a lot to improve yet.
Mm-hmm.
So some people don't even get to the halfway of this, and they don't know how their body can be when you really put the right work in it.
Yeah. Yeah, very true. Yeah, that's a good illustration because it's like you just putting up the walls, putting up the bricks. It looks pretty, but there's no, at any moment it could crumble, it could fall. And that's a very good illustration to use for sure. Um, so you said that your first show, when did you do your first show again?
2023. So I
2023. Okay.
was, yeah, I was 66 as well. So I was the same weight basically, but you can see the difference from the muscle build and
Okay.
also the fat amount that I had, fat
Okay.
percentage. So,
I'm gonna share if I
okay.
can, yeah, some of the pictures that you sent me and you can
Yeah.
kind of lead us through it. Give me just a second. But so 20 so that was your first show. That was the show that you were telling me was just you weren't at your best, but you were just getting your feet wet. So they say.
Yes, exactly. I
Hmm.
said, okay, this is not my best presentation, not my best body, not the body that I wanted, because my references were always the Olympia bodybuilders, the Olympia wellness, and I know they are enhanced. So, okay, I look up very high, but I said, okay, as it is my first competition, I'm not gonna be so crazy about it.
Uh-huh.
This was this year, so
So
all the speakers are this year.
So this, let me see here. So these pictures here, is
This
that
year,
from
yeah.
this year? Okay.
Yeah.
So this is all this year. Okay, let me see. So
Yeah.
if I can get it to work here. One second. So which ones were the ones closer to the year of you competing for the first time?
I
These,
think upper, no more
right?
up.
No, these are all close.
This is when I competed.
Hmm.
No, okay. This no down. Down. So I think there is some November 2024, and down there the last ones are the ones of my competition in 2023.
So this is
This
2023 right here.
Yes, this is 2023. Yeah.
So this is your first show?
Physique, yeah, my first show. But the thing
Hmm.
is, I was like that in the morning when I
Hmm.
was fasted, and then I had something that in the stage made me look not so lean like that.
Hmm.
So a little bit of mistake in the middle, but you can see my body fat is completely different
Hmm.
from what I had this year. So I still had the same 66 kilograms,
Hmm.
but these are from this year, the EU are from this year.
So this one is from this year.
Yes, this from this year.
Okay.
So you can see
Yeah.
the complete different
Yes.
physique.
A lot leaner. A
Yeah,
lot.
a
How
lot.
much? How much cardio were you doing for this year for
I was
25?
doing 1 hour, 1.5 hour. So
Hmm.
my workout schedule was 3-1-2-1. So 3 days of workout, 1 day of rest, 2 days of workout, 1 day of rest. And in my rest days, I was having 1.5 hour cardio. And in my
Hmm.
workout days, I was having 1 hour cardio, plus the hours that I was practicing the posing and everything. So it was
Hmm.
very much work this year.
Yeah. It's so the cardio really helped. What do you do? What did you do for cardio? Stairs.
Stairmasters. Yeah.
Is that your favorite? Is that was most effective for you?
I mean, is that what works? I cannot choose.
Yeah, yeah,
It would
yeah.
work.
I
But
always.
also I had bike. When I had 1.5 hour, I have a bike at home. So
Hmm.
I can use it. And I was doing 1.5 hour. I think the bike is good for my knees because it's not so
Hmm.
much impact. But The Stairmaster is good, doing good for my glutes. It's helping me to build my glutes as well.
Hmm. Then this is where you started, right? You
This
said,
is my 80 kilograms.
wow.
I got to
Yeah.
80 kilograms, so this was heavy.
Yeah. Was this intentional, or is this just something that, kind of happened?
No, this
Okay.
was just me pretending I was doing diet and having
Oh,
ice cream.
okay. Okay. I gotcha. So you went from this to the look that we just saw.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
to this right here. Yeah,
It's 1 year difference, those pictures.
that's a huge transformation. That's a huge
Yes.
transformation. Yeah. And
So
yeah.
I thought that I had lipedema. I still don't know because I'm gonna do my exams probably next week, the
Uh-huh.
Doppler, which
Uh-huh.
is the exam you can identify if you have lipedema or not. And I need to check it.
Hmm.
But the problem is, I thought I really had it, and I didn't think I would get to the competition day in this physique. Like you could not see any cellulite is how you call it,
Cellulite. Hmm.
satellites in my leg. So
Uh-huh.
we really did a very great job. I was
Hmm.
very happy with my positions in the three categories I was competing for. But I really didn't thought when I saw we see those pictures of 80 kilograms and then you see the pictures of my presentation, it's a very big difference in the
Yeah.
legs and everything. So a lot of supplements were also helping. So natural supplements from roots and
Hmm.
curcuma, berberina. So a lot of natural
Hmm.
supplements. My coach helped me saying, okay, well, let's try this to see how your circulation gets better and sugar peaks and everything. So it worked very well.
Yeah. What did your diet consist of during this prep? Was it very strict, or did you allow yourself some, no, what is
No cheat meals
no
at
cheat
all.
no cheat meals at
So
all, huh?
the problem is, I was really in doubt. I really had some team from United States reached me five
Hmm.
months before the competition, but I didn't like their how they were reacting to how we should work together, and I broke up with the possibility of working with them. So I found my coach 3 months before my competition. So we only had 3 months of preparation to get in. That was 75 when we started
Hmm.
the coaching.
Yeah.
And then when we started preparation, 75 to 66. So I really couldn't have anything wrong in this preparation because the time was very short. For a natural athlete, it's best when you do 6 months of preparation, but in 3 months was already too tight. So we couldn't be having any cheat meals, any meal
Yeah.
out of the plan. It was very strict. Like the last 3 weeks before competition, I was having zero carbs. Like
Hmm.
I was getting crazy. It was only fish, asparagus, and cucumber. That's all I could eat.
Yeah. I find that fish, especially like white fish, is really good to quickly drop body fat, to thin out
Yeah.
your skin, to even to bring out like some really good lines in your legs and everything like that. It's really useful. The problem is not a lot of people like to eat fish, which is kind of tough. But but if you want to get the job done and you're disciplined, you'll do what you need to do,
Yeah, I mean, it depends on where you live because here in Portugal, it's easy to find the fish to eat and to find a lot of variety that you can
Sure.
like one or like the other. So I like one that is called tilapia that
Yeah.
we have a lot here, and it's very tasty. I do it in the air fryer with garlic, and it's amazing. I cannot be bothered to eat that every
Hmm.
day. And
Hmm.
this was really what helped me to get to my physique because uh, I don't care too much if I'm eating the same every day or if I'm eating chicken in the morning and fish in the
Yeah.
night. As a bodybuilder, you cannot have this type of
Agreed.
princess thing.
Yes. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to do what you need to do, and
Yeah.
you like it or not. What
Yeah,
do you do with the
you have to be
results?
you have to be disciplined. If you don't have discipline, it's very difficult to be a bodybuilder. It's very difficult to
Exactly.
change your physique. That's why I have, I have a good amount of competitive clients, but I do have some lifestyle clients too. And part of some of the problem that I find with some of the lifestyle clients is that they're just not like, how can I put this? They want the results, but not willing to do what needs
They
to be
want to
done.
choose. They want to
Right.
choose how they want you to do your job.
Right.
They say,
Exactly.
right. I
Exactly.
don't want this. Maybe once a week. Maybe I
Yeah.
eat this in the morning and this at night.
Yeah.
Like, why did you hire me?
Right. Exactly. If you're gonna make all the decisions and you just want me to say yes, then you don't really need me. Here's
Exactly. Like, of course, if you're someone that is just out for the money, you say, "Oh, okay, no problem.
yeah. Yeah.
Let's adapt." But then you say, what do I really want as a professional? Do I want that my clients get me the results so I can use them as a study base or even to
Right.
show other people what is my work? Or do I only want to the money, And
Yeah.
with time, this kind of professional are not gonna stand out because you see that there's no result. So it's really difficult to try to work with people. I'm not a professional. I'm not a nutritionist, or I don't
Hmm.
do anything. But some people ask me, "Oh, what would you do? What can I do to improve?"
Hmm.
I say, "Okay, let's try this and this and this." For friends and family, and they're like, "Oh, not today. I didn't like it. Oh, I didn't do it. Can I not do this for 2 days or for 2 weeks and then come back?" And I say, "Okay, you
Yeah.
do what you want,
Yeah.
At the
Yeah.
end.
I think when people aren't serious, it's frustrating because what a lot of times happens to me is when people come to me, and the way it usually happens is either I'll get DMs in Instagram or somebody will see me working out at the gym and they'll come up to me and say, "Hey, do you coach or what do whatever." And initially they sound very serious, They're like, "Oh yeah, I want to do this. I want to," but then once you start trying to work with them, you see very quickly they're not as serious as they, acted, or,
Yeah.
as they present themselves initially. And
Yeah,
so
because they want
very
it's the same as
frustrating.
the steroids. You want the results, but you don't want to work out. So let's do what is quicker. And then when they see that you really need to work to
Yeah,
get the result, they say, maybe
absolutely.
not.
And you're gonna have that now more and more, as you compete, as you improve your physique. People are going to see you. People are going to notice you. Your social media following is going to grow. And you're going to get more and more people wanting you to coach them, wanting your help. Sometimes like what I'll have people do is they'll just ask me to look at them. It's not even necessarily
Yeah.
coaching, but because they might have their own coach, but they'll be like, "Hey, can you just take a look at me posing, da da da." And so you'll get a lot of that, and you'll be able to tell very quickly, who's worth it and who's not.
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Well, let's see. I'm really hoping, like, I'm already old, not old enough because Franciele Matos is 40, and I really have my hopes that I can not do it by myself, of course, but help the natural bodybuilding to get to a very upper level where we can really have serious argumentations about this sport because it's also very important. I'm hoping, of course, my social media to grow, but I really
Hmm.
want to bring this, especially for the women, because we have a lot of men supports men, but it's
Hmm.
not very often that I see women supporting women, and I think in this sport. It's very important that you have that because it's not easy, especially being a woman. We have four cycles in a month,
Hmm.
so it's
Yeah, yeah,
to maintain it as a natural athlete. And some women are like, oh, I cannot do that.
yeah,
It's impossible for me. I already had two kids. I already have, I don't know, I have a busy life, but it's more that we can support each other and show that it's possible. So I
Hmm.
think one of my goals with doing this sport is that, because by heart I'm an engineer, but I'm also athlete by heart
Hmm.
since I
Hmm.
was a kid. So I think this also brings me a little bit of uh,
Yes.
passion.
Yeah, I completely understand. I'm the same way. I have a passion for medicine, and then that's kind of where I work. And then, but I also have a passion for like bodybuilding, being an athlete as well. And it's always nice to be able to combine the two. But but sometimes sometimes it's good to have different things. That you're, and when people see that, when they see that you're they look at you and they see that you're an athlete, but you're also in a field that's very it, how can I put
Masculine.
this? Masculine, and then also just it's a an engineer is a difficult
Yeah,
path. It's a difficult
yeah.
path. It's a difficult road. My mother was an engineer. My
Uh,
grandparents were engineers. Yeah, we're originally from the Soviet Union back back in the
okay.
day. And so it's a job that's very difficult, and when they see you as a woman competing in bodybuilding, but you're also not, I don't know how to put it, you're not dumb, you're very smart.
Yeah.
Obviously you're very smart, so you kind of raise women up, on both sides. It's
Yes,
not
that's
just
true.
physically, but you can accomplish both things at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. It's
So,
not easy. I also want to put here that my life is easier than other women's reality because I don't have kids.
hmm.
I am single. I
Yeah.
traveled a lot already. I didn't come from a rich family. Okay, I came from
Hmm.
a very humble family,
Yeah.
but my situation at my age, it's easier than the reality of most women now.
Hmm.
So yes,
Yeah.
I studied, I had the opportunity to study engineering. That is something I like. And I
Hmm.
also had the opportunity and the easiest way to practice bodybuilding because I was already used to that since I was a kid. So
Hmm.
it's a different reality that I faced since very young,
Sure.
but also I think this can also show other women that they are also capable, not
Hmm.
independent of what their reality is if they want to. Because I
Hmm.
was also, when I was 80 kilograms, I was like, okay, I don't mind. Let's just sit here and sit there. And I was living in
Yeah.
Germany and I was working as an engineer there. It was very stressful because I hadn't my friends there. I was basically alone with my team work. And I was working
Yeah.
from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and I was going to the gym at 10 p.m. I had all my meals ready for the whole week. I was separating the Sunday to prepare my meals for the whole week, so I couldn't have problems with that. And yes, I think it's possible if you put yourself in a position, okay, I'm going to do that no matter what, and I'm not going to find excuse to anything like, oh, I'm so tired, maybe I go
Yeah.
tomorrow. It is possible, but you really have to want it so much.
Yeah.
You have to be obsessed with that.
Yeah. And I feel like you have to start. You have to start. You have to start in one step at a time, one foot in front of the other. And then you will, excuse me, and then you will develop a habit and continue on. It's difficult if you just constantly tell yourself, oh, I'm too tired, or I don't, or I don't have enough time, or and you never really get going. Because once you get going, and that's why I tell people, once you get going, you'll enjoy it, and once you start enjoying it, you're not going to want to stop.
Exactly.
There's going to be times where you can't make it to the gym because something comes up, and you're going to feel bad about it because you enjoy what you're doing, and yeah, it's difficult, but it's very doable. And I think you're in a good position. being natural, like I said, being a woman, being natural, being in the position that you are. The natural shows are getting bigger. I think, I think we're on a trajectory upwards with natural shows.
Yeah, I
I
felt
think you're in a
I'm
good,
really hoping for that.
yeah, yeah. I think you're in a good spot to do that. Speaking of Franchelle Matos, what do you think about her not? I mean, it sounds like she's not competing anymore. Period. She's retired now.
I
Um,
think she did amazing while
mhm.
she was on her peak, and that's what I do. I want to be in my peak,
Mhm.
retire, and okay, I'm gonna leave whatever I built, and it's amazing. Like I think you can do it for as long as it returns you the passion that you give that you put into it, and
Yeah.
you know when to stop because even you are too tired of competing because it's not easy. It's not something easy to do.
Hmm.
That I say, okay, I'm gonna compete next year. Haha, let's go, let's play. No, it's not easy. It's something really difficult to do. So I think once you reach the first place so many times, you say,
Yeah.
okay, I accomplished my goal. I can rest. I can live my life, and I can enjoy it. And whatever
Yeah.
she wants to do. She wants to coach. She wants to sell her clothes brand. That I think she
Hmm.
has a clothes brand as
Yeah.
Wolves. Whatever, like I think that's the goal after all. That you've been seen, and then you build your business over it. Whatever business you want to build. I think she did amazing, and that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Also. I don't
To,
want
I
to be
mean,
competing for the rest of my life.
yeah, to me, she's the standard of wellness still to this day. I
Definitely.
know, I know she lost to Issa, and I'm, I like Issa. There's nothing wrong with Issa, but I felt like she should. I felt like she still won that show. I know the judges didn't see it that way, but now, it's interesting. Issa won it that time, and now you see Eduarda took the title, and Eduarda is very similar, I would say, more similar to Franchelle, and
Then
so
Issa,
so
yeah.
so so I think that look is winning again. It's not Matos winning, but it's Eduarda, but it's still that kind of look is winning again.
And their proportional proportions
Mhm.
are different from Isa
Mhm.
and Eduardo. Their
Right, right.
body proportions are different. My dream, I will be honest, is to be natural and reach my full potential and get to the Olympia stage with them because I think
Hmm.
it's possible. I know that I would have to work a little bit more. I don't know if you watch the natural bodybuilding for men, the
Hmm.
man that competed and he's 50 years old. Of course, he was working out all this
Yes.
time, and he has an amazing physique as a lifetime time natural.
Hmm.
And that's what I want as well, that I would be able to put my physique in comparison with the
Right.
Olympic girls that are enhanced or not, or I don't know how it's going to be in a few years. But I
Yeah.
think this is my dream to say, okay, I got here. And
That
then
well
when I
that
get there, I think, okay, it's going to be enough.
you're done after that. You're like, I'm here now.
Exactly.
It's, that would be something. And I think it's doable. I think you definitely could do it. I saw the video you posted, I think it was in your stories, of your back training, and just
Oh, yeah.
the the development of your back naturally is you I mean, it's a very well developed back, and so I see now why people think that you're not natural.
Not
It's
natural. Well, I didn't know my back was like that.
yeah.
I asked them to film it, and then I
Uh,
was seeing. I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, Jesus
yeah,
Christ! I didn't know. I was
yeah,
like,
because
because now
you never look at your back. Yeah,
no,
it's
yeah,
yeah.
you never look. And when I work out, I was the last time I filmed, I was cutting for the competition,
Hmm.
and now I'm already bulking, step
Yeah,
by step, but I'm already bulking. So the looks at it looks much bigger than it was before. I
yeah.
was like, what?
Yeah, because you're still kind of, you're probably, and I'm just assuming, but you're probably still somewhat lean, but you started to fill
Makes me
out. Yeah,
happy.
you started to fill out, and so now you have like the combination of being full and then but also still lean
Yeah.
enough, and it looks really, good there. So yeah, so yeah, I think that would be that's a great goal to have, to stand there and be natural on an undoubtedly like an enhanced show, and
Yes,
so
that
yeah.
would be crazy. But everybody I knew before starting competing, they said, if you really work out, you can really go to the stage with the enhanced people. That it could really be a good thing. And I started to think that. I said, okay, maybe let's start from the natural and see how it goes. I still have potential to reach. So, but maybe in a few years, you're gonna see me in the Olympia stage.
Yeah, yeah, that would be.
Hopefully next year in the band Vaders. That is
Hmm.
the natural
Yeah,
competition in the United States. It's Florida. Yeah,
Florida. Yeah, yeah,
Florida.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I go to Florida quite a bit. It's my wife is originally from Florida, and so we traveled there a lot. It's a good place to have bodybuilding shows. There was one just recently, a few years ago, they moved the Olympia to Florida, and I loved it being there. But now it's back to Las Vegas. Las Vegas is great. It's just Las Vegas traffic is really bad. It's very expensive, so sometimes it can be a problem for a lot of people to be able to afford to come, um, but
Yeah,
it's
I've
a,
never been to United States ever, so I don't know anywhere how it
yeah.
is. I have no idea. Well,
Well,
maybe next year I'm there. I'll let you
yeah,
know.
maybe your first time will be you being on the Olympia stage. You never know. So
Maybe,
very
who
soon.
knows?
Uh,
Let's see.
so,
I'm also
so
hoping to go there to film for Black Panther. Hopefully
uh,
the director of Black Panther can see me and say, "Okay, maybe she's good for the
yeah,
movies.
yeah,
Let's put her
maybe,
here."
maybe you never know. Hey, people get discovered many different ways.
Yes, that's
So
true. That's
yeah.
true. I'm still hoping for that.
Mhm.
Destiny never deceives me, so maybe.
So are you interested in like acting and things like that?
Yes, I would love to. I would love
Hmm.
to. This would be
Yeah.
something interesting. Like some people's dreams are to go to Disney. My
Uh-huh.
dream is to be in a movie. So
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you only need one movie and then
I know
everyone
I only
knows
need
you.
one. I would do great in one.
Oh, so what realistically, um, your goal now is to improve and to put on, bulk and put on more size. Is there specific areas that you're working on, or just overall size?
So my back, I don't need to work anymore
Hmm.
around putting muscle on it because I think it's already full potential reached.
Hmm.
Then the places where I need to work the most are my quads and glutes. My quads are getting better because then we use all those supplements that help with the
Hmm.
circulation. And from the front of my quads, you can see that the fat is gone. I could feel the skin much more thinner, but the back part, so the hamstrings and the glutes, they still need to work because it's my weakest point because it's
Hmm.
where I accumulate a lot of fat
Hmm.
and you cannot see so much. But so these are the points, the spots I'm working better and harder, heavier, so I can get more results when I drop the fat.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's all. And also the posing, because it's always a problem when you're starting. You don't know how your body's going to balance and
Right.
how you're going to
Yeah.
look on stage. And so, you have to know which are your strongest spots and your weakest point. So you hide it. And this is also very new for me. So I still need to work on that. And I still need to put the shape again before competition. What they say
Yeah.
is put 2 times the shape before competition so you can really see what you're developing. And this is what me and my coach are going to do the next month. We're going to do a small bulking and cutting again until the end of January, February, being
Hmm.
almost ready for stage so we can see what we get.
Yeah, that posing is so important, you know. I think people are starting to really realize that posing is extremely important. It's because you can have a great physique, but if you don't pose right, it doesn't matter, you know. And so you want to be able to display that
Yeah.
physique the right way. And so yeah, if you can get your posing perfect, then that will make you go above a lot of other people.
Yeah, you
Just
maximize your chances
yeah.
of winning and showing because it's so important because you only have like 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes to show your
Hmm.
shape on stage. And it's so important because these 2 minutes are gonna tell where you're gonna place, like in
Hmm.
first position and last position, just because of how you pose. Even if you have a very great physique and you don't know how to pose or you don't know how to show your strongest points, you're
Hmm.
gonna place very badly because you don't know how to show it.
Yeah. Yeah, very true. Very true. So do you have a show in mind? Are you shooting for a particular show exactly, or not so much?
Like I want the Bay Invaders. I know it's something to look at, but
Hmm.
me and my coach, are waiting for the calendar for the next year to
Hmm.
decide what's the best strategy, how we're
Right.
gonna work, how is the time that we need to put
Hmm.
the strategies on point, and I think the same that I did the NPC, I'm gonna do again, but I am looking for the pro card before June. So
Hmm.
whichever competition they have for the
That's the
pro
one.
card before June, I want to compete because I don't know if you know or who's watching this know. I didn't know that while you're in a PC, which is the amateur league, you don't receive any monetary value for the first or the second or the third place. So
Yes.
you
Yeah.
only receive the medals. And as I am a Capricorn and I love money, I want to get some money back from that. I really want to get
It's a
some.
well, it's an expensive sport.
It's an
It's an
expensive
expensive
sport, even
sport.
when
Yeah.
you're natural. Like you have a lot of supplements to buy. Also, the bikini for the competition is very expensive. The
Yeah.
high heels, the jewelry, the hair, the makeup. This year, I'm very grateful. I had a lot of help from makeup artists, from estheticists,
Mhm.
drainage, everything, massage, everything. And I didn't spend so much. Also, if you could put the pictures together, you see that it's the same bikini that I had for both competitions.
Uh-huh.
Because this year I said, okay, I'm going to invest in the supplements and everything. And I really tried to just focus on that, on what I was giving for my physique. But it's a very expensive sport. And I told my coach,
Yeah.
I said, look, where is my money?
Yeah.
I want to start getting money from that. So we need to gain the pro card. And after you gain the pro card, you win the pro card, you start getting money from the positions you get in the show. So I
Right.
didn't know that. That's why I'm putting my goal to, okay, until June, I want to get a pro card. So from June ahead, I want to win everything that I can so I
Uh-huh.
can reinvest this money on me.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, so like because NPC and those kind of they're considered amateur, so they don't pay for amateur. So NPC, what you pay to compete, which then which then supports the money that the professionals get, you know. So like well, a lot of times when they host shows, it's they have huge NPC amount of NPC athletes, but those athletes pay, and then the pros, you know, get some of that money. So yeah, so it'd be good to be a pro, and then you can, you know, win some shows and make some money. So
Wait.
I had a friend a while back. This is when I was kind of starting with competitive bodybuilding, and
Yeah.
she was competing in figure, and she was telling me, everything that it takes for her to compete in amateur, and she was NPC amateur show in figure. And it was unreal, like how much money it cost, how like everything that it takes, especially for women. I mean, it's expensive for men, but it's double that for women. And because you're talking about hair, makeup, all these other things, suits are more expensive for women, And so, yeah, it's nice.
The
It would be
heels,
nice to get paid.
you need to have heels as well, like, and some heels are with shiny
Hmm.
spots and things, and you have to know the different heels, and you have to have one heel for practicing and another heel for
Yeah.
posing in the stage because they can get dirty or
Right.
anything can
Right.
happen. So
Yeah.
it's a whole other world for women. We spend
Yeah.
much more money just to be born women. We already spend much money,
Yes.
and then to compete as a woman is just.
Absolutely. Agreed. Yeah, agreed. Well, Bruna, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. I really had a good time.
Oh, me too. Thank you very much for inviting me. I was really glad for my first podcast. I felt very comfortable. Thank you for
Yeah, yeah,
that.
of course. And I'd love to have you on in the future when you win your pro card and you
Yes,
go to the Olympia and all that stuff.
of course. It will be my pleasure to
Yeah,
participate.
awesome. So if somebody wanted to contact you about coaching or more podcasts or anything like that, what would be the best way to reach out to you?
Through Instagram, I'm always on
Okay.
my Instagram. I don't have TikTok yet,
Mhm.
but I think Instagram is already good
Got it.
enough. You can
Okay.
always search there.
And guys, I'm going to link everything at the bottom of this video to make it easier for you to reach out to Bruna. And again, Bruna, thank you so much. I know we had a lot, there's a big time difference between us, but
Yes.
I'm glad we were able to make it work. Hmm.
Yeah, I'm glad too. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Of course.
I hope
Well, you
we see each other soon again with
take
my
care.
more medals to
Right.
show.
With more medals and more money. Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.